Welcome to Mental Health Monday. My name is Mick Coyle. Coming up on the programme this week.
Work hard now and play hard later. It's like anything. Same rules applies to life. Sort out your priorities now so you can enjoy the fruits of it later. You get me?
Tell me more about my bone structure. Never mind that. Tell me more about my bone structure.
Well, I can't have your bone structure. God didn't make me that way. But that's a pink lady apple, brother. A bit of mature cheddar. Bentekers. Yeah.
And I'll be reminding you how you can make connections with mental health organisations within your community. It's Mental Health Monday. The home of the UK's conversation about mental health. Welcome to Mental Health Monday for another week. My name is Mick Coyle, and what a cracking episode we have for you this week with a brilliant guest who hasn't appeared on the programme before, but I'll tell you what, it will be absolutely brilliant to have him on again. He is the king of the UK grime scene, and his name is Big Narstie. So Big Narstie is a real top guy. You've probably seen him on TV. A number of years ago, 2019, he appeared on the celeb version of the Great British Bake Off. And as we'll hear as part of this conversation, during the filming of that, he took ill. And when they did the assessments, they looked at his lifestyle, the things he was going through, and he was told he had to make changes, and he came to learn himself that he had to make changes. So this conversation is about those changes that he's made in the last 5, 6, 7 years, the difference it's made to his life, and the new outlook that he's got in life. There's some very funny stuff in here as well about him showing me his guns over the over the webcam, and also inviting me down to his gym to take part in his mixed martial arts sessions. I'm sure we'll make that happen at some point in the future. But there's a lot in this conversation, and yeah, it's a real insight into the mindset that he had before, but also the difference that he's made now. Now, obviously, losing weight, getting physically fit plays a big part, doesn't it, in terms of your mental health and how you feel about yourself. So it's brilliant to hear that he's in a better place now, that he's even trying new things, as we'll hear with the pink lady and the mature cheddar cheese. That's still to come as part of the conversation too. And there's some really, really funny stuff in here too as well. So it's a real pleasure to hang around with Big Narstie this week. He's our guest on Mental Health Monday. He's got a new podcast which is called Life Gains, which is just about to launch, and we will get some links to that in the podcast notes so you can tap into that one too. So funny, some of the stuff though. Really, really top guy. Really enjoyed the conversation. Big Narstie on Mental Health Monday. And we started off by talking about that moment that he realised that things needed to change.
My moment was, I think maybe 6, 7 years ago. I collapsed on Celebrity Bake Off after doing the first filming. And I basically ran my body into the ground previous. I did a 2 weeks university tour beforehand. Not sleeping, 9 days, only 8 hours sleep, just partying. You get what I mean? It's a fool's game. And yeah, I found an exercise and a lifestyle what I liked. I've always wanted to be a ninja from a kid. So being able to do like martial arts and live out my fantasies is to wear costumes and like it's right up my street. Do you know what I mean? So like this 7 years journey of me being healthy and starting to exercise and doing things, it didn't feel like a chore. It just felt like I found the new lifestyle what I like. So it's something what's maintainable.
When you're making physical changes, what were those mental benefits that you felt? Was that instant? Was that something that you were expecting to come? Did it come straight away? Was it further down the line that you thought, I'm going to feel better?
Yeah, it was definitely further down the line. So it's mad. People around me noticed that I look different than me. I always saw the same person in the mirror. To get what I mean? So, like, my friends would be like, "Raw, like you've lost a bit of weight," and I'd be like, "Raw, I don't see it. I still see my round shape." But I started to notice it. One time I had to do some filming, and I can't remember where it was, but it was up bare stairs, bro, bare stairs. And older me, I would have got to the first floor, and I'd have been flipping, heaving, like starting to sweat and everything. And the fact that I could walk up like 4 flights of stairs and weren't panting, I was like, raw. Do you know what I mean? And there was little things like that. I just started to feel better. And then when I started to feel better, my body just wanted good stuff. Like, it's mad. It's like our bodies tell us what we want. Like, tell us what we want. I would eat something, and if it didn't agree with me, it's coming out straight away. straight away. It was not sitting inside me. And then most importantly, knowledge, the person with the most information wins. Coming from a poor diet background, not knowing stuff about nutrition, and most importantly, coming from we say underprivileged lifestyle, chicken and chip shops always been our mate because it's cheap and cheerful, wasn't it? So it was just breaking out of those habits and opening man's food vocab. Because a lot of people, they haven't got no food vocabulary in it. They just know what they know. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you ever had grapes with cheese. You ever had grapes and cheese and apples, bro?
Yeah, I think that's probably like one day a year, like Christmas Day, someone will bring cheese out and there'll always be grapes on the side. But I wouldn't say it's a regular thing. Why, is that something you've tapped into?
That's banging, fam. I'm black, fam. We don't do stuff like that, cuz that's flipping banging. I like that. Like, that's not a regular go-to for the mans, them. And like thinking of grapes and cheese and apple and cheese, like even being a combination. But that's a pink lady apple, brother. A bit of mature cheddar, Bentekers, yeah. That is a vibe.
Fantastic. You touched on it there, but it's dead important to talk about that. You know, that lifestyle you were leading, you know, sort of the party time. You do when you're young feel invincible, don't you? Like, no matter what's coming your way, you're in your 20s, you think, you know what, I can get away with this. But there is, I'm not saying there's like a cliff edge, but there is a moment where you suddenly do go, hang on a minute, I can't get away with this anymore. And then that's the point where you need all that knowledge and information about how to eat well, how to live well, how to look after yourself. But not everyone has got it. And you've got to learn quick, right? If you don't have that in your skill set.
What's the word? What I personally thought, like, is it buying stereotypical food of what I think of a nutrition? Or he or she's just gonna say you're fat, you shouldn't eat anything. Total opposite. The nutritionist, this is like, you need to eat a lot of food, but you need to eat the right food. So even that little piece of information there changed my perspective of even asking people for the right information. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously you mostly think like, they're just gonna hit you up with loads of bad news and just tell you stuff you can't do and just like put your whole life on the ban. Do you know what I mean? So it was very informational to know that, like, they encourage you to eat, but just the right things what you eat, not to starve yourself.
I had a friend of mine worked at a football club, professional football club, Premier League club, and they went to the players and they were saying to the players, how much are you eating? How many calories are you intaking a day? And the players were all like trying to protect themselves. So they go, oh no, I only have like 2,500 calories. I only have like 3,000 max and all that. And they were saying, you're professional athletes. You should be having 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 calories a day. And they were like, oh, right. Like, yeah, right. But it was, they were professional athletes. They should have grown up in a world knowing what you've got to eat and how that can make you feel better and how it can improve your performance and all that kind of stuff. Can I ask you about, you mentioned there the mental health benefits that took a longer time to come in. Do you wake up with a clearer mind now that you're looking after yourself, that you're exercising, that maybe you're not doing some of those things that you maybe did in the past but have put to one side?
Oh, 100%. Exercise is so good for mental health. Exercise is so good for mental health, 100%. If I don't go to the gym in like 2 weeks and I feel it, my head feels way more clouded. It's something about having a clear space and just being able to exercise and get things out. But I'm fortunate. The exercise and sport I do is full contact. There's nothing better than kicking someone and get your head kicked in. Do you know what I mean? That's the best stress relief you're ever gonna get. You know what I mean? Do that 4 times a week, bro. I'm out here like the Dalai Lama. No, I'm got peace, love, and righteousness, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's epic.
When people talk about the thing that they need to do to find their space, you've obviously found that sort of full contact stuff. What do you think that taps into? Is that something that you're always sort of like the rough and tumble of being like a guy growing up? Do you think some people like to go knitting? Some people like to go running on their own, play tennis, do all. What is it for you about the full contact stuff that gets you going?
I always wanted to be a ninja, and I'm trying to be Kung Fu Panda. So, like, this is all up my street. You know what I mean? But it's like, to any person who's trying to like get a healthy lifestyle, it's just about finding something you enjoy. It may be even just going on for long walks with your dog in the park. It may be, hey, do you ever play badminton? Badminton's a bad man game, you know?
I've not played badminton for years, but if you your recommendation, I'll take it.
Bro, if you play against a good badminton player, he will have you running across the sides of the pitch like a lunatic, bro. Yeah? Left to right. Badminton's a lit game. I'm scared of squash, though. No, the one in your small room with that blue ball, fam. It's the sounds of the wall. This thing, if the ball hits you, you're peak, innit? You get me? But it's just finding things that you enjoy. If from you enjoy it, it takes away the chore aspect.
Seems like you've sort of like completely sort of changed your outlook on life, the things you eat, the people you hang around with, the activities that you take part in, the fact you're trying new things as well. Is that part of it, that you've got to sort of try new things? People think that if you're going to maybe stop eating as much, or you're going to try and, move away from a certain lifestyle, you're denying yourself some. But actually what you're describing is the opposite. You're describing about trying new things, taking more opportunities, looking for different things to do.
Oh, 100%. 100%. We've all got one life to live. Yeah? And when your time's up, you make sure you highlight this in bold letters. Mick Coyle. Yeah? Narstie said, we've all got one life to live. And when the stop clock of our life is at the end, are you going to be happy with the choices what you've made and the things what you tried to do? So if that goes from jet skiing, rock climbing, archery, for riding a horse, wanting to swim with dolphins, now is the time to do it. Now is the time to do it. Because we're all getting older. Are you going to try and do it when you're 74? You might as well. Do you get what I mean? So let's go, champ. Go and try new things. At least you can tick it off your box and say, don't like it. Me, I'm petrified of seafood, bruv. Yeah? Anything, yeah? Sea world food, not me. Yeah? I can say I've tried it. It's just not me.
Badminton, yes. Seafood, no. We all know what we like, and that's good. If you'd have carried on the pathway that you were on 6 or 7 years ago, what happens to Big Narstie from 2017? If he carried on doing what he was doing, where would he be, do you think, in 2024?
I'd be in a wooden box, mate. Because it's like, it's easier to deal with a situation when you've caught it early. But when your kidney's gone flipping out 25 years down the alcoholic tunnel, but what's left? You're dealing with the remains, isn't it? Not a living body. So it's like that moment with my body shutting down, and the most important way taught me about resting. You get what I mean? It's like, also, every person from a poor background, middle class or gutter, or working class, this even goes to you, Mick. To get where you've got to, think about the hours you've sacrificed and your body to do it. Remember, certain opportunities you might have had, there was no previous warning. You may have just came from your normal regular job, and then someone's phoned you and said, oh, Mick, I've got an opportunity for you to interview Elton John. You've just gone flipping 18 hours with no sleep, working all day, but you can't miss the opportunity. So what does Mick do? Mick bangs an energy drink or a cup of coffee and sucks it up for the bigger prize of benefiting his career. You get what I mean?
I've done it. Yeah. The thing is as well, right, and this is true, and I'll tell you a little story. So I used to do, I would do my shift, say 11:07. I'd read the news on the radio. Then I'd go 7, I'd get in the car, I'd go to the rugby league, and I'd cover the rugby league game, full reporting, till 10:30. Back to the studio, 11 o'clock, turn the stuff around, the content around, home, in bed for midnight, and then I'd be up at 5 a.m. and I'd start the breakfast shift for the weekend the next day. And at the time, I was thinking, well, I can get away with this. But the idea of doing it now, I would say, no, impossible. There's no way I can do that physically. There's no way I can do it. And I wouldn't put myself through it mentally, knowing that I don't get that cut-off point. And I think that comes with age, and it comes with learning a little bit of responsibility to yourself, doesn't it? To say, you know what? No.
But you had to do that to get you to this position. You had to be Mr. Muscle and do the jobs they hate. You get what I mean? Like, now you've done that, you've given yourself an opportunity to have a decision to say no. But like, beggars can't be choosers at the beginning. We're all trying to get our name out. We're all trying to get relevancy to build our profile. So we have to just do all the grave shifts. And in the process of doing all of this stuff, if you're not looking after your body, if you're not eating right, if you're not sleeping, you get what I mean? You get to the stage where, like me, I was thinking at one stage in my life, I'm going to be really successful, but on the bed and not being able to use to live any of the perks of my hard work. All my children, yeah, and my family are going to reap the benefits more than me.
The new podcast is called Life Gains. It's about learning those lessons, isn't it? People sharing their stories, and actually you thinking, actually, what were those things that I can take from that and I can apply to what I'm doing? Because everyone's life is completely different, isn't it? But actually, if you tap into a little bit of something from somebody else's journey, that can make a big difference. You know, that one little change that you hear that person does, you think, I could maybe give that a go. I can really change the way you think about yourself and the way you feel about yourself.
100%. 100%. I remember, we're all people just trying to navigate our journey. Yeah? We're all people just trying to navigate our journey. So, and especially in the health industry and the weight loss industry, yeah? Remember, we're coming from an institution of marketing things in a way where they would already have a person, a big fit person promoting the product. So the person you're looking at is ripped, fully in the best shape of their life. Most importantly, a person who's organized already to stick to a diet plan, to eat the right things, has already had the knowledge. Me looking at it on my big TV screen, thinking, yeah, that's all right, but you can tell he goes gym every day anyway. When you see someone like me aspiring and like you feel like you're part of the journey, I don't know, it's got more of a personal touch to it. Do you get what I mean? Because think about it, Slim Fast didn't have to use a person like me. They could have used someone who's ripped. They could have used a footballer. They could have used a rugby player. Do you get what I mean? So the fact that they said, "Raw, let's use this fact that it gave people a realistic vision of what you're supposed to be achieving." Because we're all different shapes and sizes. No, I'm never going to have your bone structure, Mick. It's impossible. I'm not DNA built that way. Is that right way to say? I'm trying to talk very professional. I've been raw in it, and I ain't swore. I haven't swore once. Yeah, well.
Tell me more about my bone structure. Never mind that. Tell me more about my bone structure.
Well, I can't have your bone structure. God didn't make me that way. You know what I mean? He made me short and stubby. Look, I got no neck. You get me? Look how much neck you got. Yeah? You know what I mean? It's just our DNA. But it doesn't mean that I can't be happy within the body what I've got and you can't be happy. It's all about self-love and feeling good. And like, boom, I told people, yeah, looking after your body is like love. Love's not supposed to feel bad, isn't it? So if you're the missus and she made you feel horrible all the time, that's not really love, is it? And so, no different like self-love. If you love yourself, why are you making yourself feel bad?
You're a philosopher now. You've always been because of the work you've done as well. But you've got to change that. Do you sort of see that world from a slightly different perspective now? Do you see the world where you've got to think long term, medium term, as well as short term? We can all think short term when we're younger, but actually you've got to start thinking, where am I going to be at? And what's that sort of thing and advice that you give to people now about just looking after themselves and thinking about themselves in that bigger picture?
I'll definitely say work hard now and play hard later. If you look after yourself now, you can enjoy yourself later. It's like anything. Same rules applies to life. Sort out your priorities now so you can enjoy the fruits of it later. You get me? And just be able to work on your forum. I'm a sick man, you know. I am totally a sick man. Hey, sorry.
I'd take those guns.
Oh, that was a good answer.
I'd take those guns over that over my bone structure any day. I'll just let's wrap it up in terms of like how people can feel like more positive about their own future. You touched on the fact that you were warned that you could potentially die, and feared that you'd die if you didn't change the pathway. You've changed the pathway, and you're inspiring people to do similar things. So for people who are in those difficult places, for people who are really struggling mentally and physically, what do you say to them to give them the sort of that inspiration to step forward and to make those changes?
I say, yo, my cheese and cheesettes, life ain't nothing but a chicken wing. It ain't no thing. But what you can do on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Sunday, come to Muscle Based Gym, Enfield, and come train with me and witness ultimate fitness. That is actually sick, innit? Yeah. If you feel down and you want to train with someone, I started doing gym raves from my gym, where basically I had DJs and stuff, and it was set up like a raving environment all around the gym machines and just like partying and exercise. I'm a person like this here. If you told me I had to do work, like clean up, whatever, I'm not really going to like to do it. But if you said to me, there's 4 people in this house, and the first person that tidies this house gets 50 quid, I'm going to win. Cleaning and has now become really exciting to me. I'm going to use the Hoover before you. Yeah, I'm going to do everything before you because I'm going to win. Now we just turn a normal cleaning your house into a game. No different like exercising or fun. If it feels fun, then it doesn't feel like a workout. Yeah, a slut drop is still a squat. Let's go, champ. You get me? Do the damn thing.
A slut drop is still a squat. Can we get some t-shirts made with that?
Let's go, champ. Yeah, I made you a believer. As long as it's fun, yeah, it doesn't feel like a burden.
I tell you what, that's sound advice. Great advice. Thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. I know you got a busy schedule at the moment, not least in the gym with the raving and the cleaning up and all that kind of stuff as well. Life Gains is the name of the podcast that you can check out as well. We'll put a link in the podcast feed as well. And Big Narstie, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Come on, big up my G. Hey, Mick, always welcome, bruv. Come down and have a session when you're ready.
I hope you've enjoyed this week's podcast. Thanks for checking out Mental Health Monday. My name is Mick Coyle. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Mick Coyle. You can also find me, Mick Coyle, on Facebook as well. Don't forget, if you want to speak to somebody about your mental health, you can do so. The Samaritans, free to call on 116 123. You can find mental health services where you are. Just look for the Hub of Hope. Type in your postcode. It'll find those mental health services close to you. And for support in a crisis, you can text SHOUT to 85258. That's if you're experiencing a personal crisis, you're unable to cope and need support. Shout to 85258. That's a text line. Do get involved in those services. In an absolute emergency, always remember the number to call is 999. Thanks for downloading the podcast this week. We'll be back next week with more Mental Health Monday.